to our concert. There's a lot of things going on in town right now, as I'm sure you're aware. So we're going to do our best to move quickly through the concert, but we want to make sure that we do take our time to pay respect to the hard work that these kids have put in this year. What a big difference between this concert and our winter concert. How about that beginning band? Great job. Just wanted to make sure we talked about this. This band went to band contest back in March, and they performed 2 pieces at the EVSC Concert Band Festival. By rule and definition, they were only able to qualify for what we call a gold rating, which is mastery of that event. But the judges, even knowing that those were the rules, thought the group was so strong that they awarded them a distinction anyways. So congratulations on that. Our next selection we're going to be performing for you is called Tadpoles. There's a little bit of history behind this piece. Helfrich Park was a part of what we call a consortium about 5 years ago, and some of you who have kids that are in high school, maybe getting ready to go on to college, were here when we performed a piece of music called Frogs for the first time. And that meant that we were one of the first bands in the world to premiere this piece of music that was written. We actually helped fund the creation of that piece of music. Randall Standridge, who is about my age, who used to be a band director, who now writes music professionally, he wrote Frogs for us, and when I was talking with him about how great the piece was, I made a joke, now you've got to write a piece for beginning band and call it Tadpoles. And he laughed, and here it is. We're going to perform Tadpoles for you this evening. Now, before we play this for you, I want you to hear some sound effects. Because this piece tells a story of a little tadpole who is hungry and wants to eat his first bug. So this tadpole has its 2 legs, it still has a tail, and it crawls up and sees the annoying bug dancing around on top of the water. We actually have a couple of instruments here that are going to be the sound of the bug. So when you hear the slide whistle, can I hear the slide whistle? Can I hear the slide whistle? That's one of the bugs. And then the instrument that kids really like is called the flexotone. So when you hear the flexotone, that's our bug. Now, we actually have some other instruments in the back, if you guys will hold those up. They're called frog weiros. And they're actually shaped like frogs. They're handcrafted, handmade. One of these I actually picked up in Charleston, South Carolina, from this really cool boutique store. But when they scrape the spine of the frog weiro, you'll hear that it sounds like a frog. Ready? Watch me. Ready? And pretty cool, huh? So you'll hear sound effects during this piece. You'll hear the trombones do a really cool glissando. It's just a lot of fun. Here's Tadpoles. All right. How about that tadpoles piece? Wasn't that fun? I don't know if you heard at the very, very end, but the frog and tadpole did get the bug. So he didn't starve. That pesky bug. We finally got him at the end. So I can't say enough about how much of a joy it's been to teach beginners this year. New challenge this year. You know, the classes were kind of scheduled a little differently than normal. Really proud of the kids for the efforts they put in this year on really making everything we've done this year a success. It is all their fault that we were successful this year. So congratulations, kids. All right, while percussion is getting set up back here, I do want to take just a moment to bring your attention to the bottom of the back side of the program. We have a lot of really supportive folks that help us here at Helfrich Park, and we have to recognize them publicly because they do so much for us and for our fine arts programs. I do want to make sure I publicly recognize our superintendent of schools and a Helfrich Park alumni, Dr. David Smith. We can give him a round of applause. I appreciate it. Of course, our fine arts director, Mr. Emmert, does a lot for us. We have a new principal at Newsflash. We have a new principal at Helfrich Park this year, and he has been such a joy to work with, such a welcome energy in the building. Really can't say enough great things. Can you please give it up for the great job Mr. Jakes has done this year? Recognize who doesn't get enough thanks because he does so many things in this building, so many things that go unnoticed. But we have a teacher here this evening who is running the video and the live stream, and he needs a huge thank you because he doesn't just do it for the band. He does it for so many other events, him and his team. Can you please, Mr. Combs is back here. Can you please thank Mr. Combs? If you have an 8th grader especially, but also some of the 7th graders, we've talked about this as well. If you have any questions, we have a special guest here this evening who's in the back. I'm going to have him wave here. This is Mr. Alex Grimm. He is the band director at Wrights High School. We have a wonderful marching band program and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And these kids are a big part of the reason why our program here at Helfrich Park is very well represented in the leadership team at the high school. So please thank Mr. Grimm for being here. I have some other important things I'm going to say later because I want to turn it over to this next group because they have been awesome. This group has been fun all year. Quit smiling, Taylor. They have been, I could be in the worst mood and I walk in and they just smile at me. Hi! And I'm like, who are you? I'm tired. And they just re-energize us every day. 7th graders, thank you for being you. Mr. Vile, thank you for everything you've done this year, volunteering his free period to help us with the bands. I'm going to turn this next part of the program over to him, and he's going to be conducting the 7th grade on the concert night. Thank you, Mr. Vile. so this band, I'm back here. I like to play the drums. This band has had a wonderful year. We talked about how much energy they have, how much of a great spirit they have every day in the band room. This band also went to band contests back in March, and they performed 3 pieces for the judges. And I'll tell you what, there's just kind of something in the water at Helfrich Park. But this band also earned the highest possible rating of distinction at contests. Congratulations. You might recognize this one. We're going to have a really quick set change. I promise it won't take very long since they practice this. only reason why we have what we have in front of you, because you sent them. And I always want to make sure I take time to thank you, grandparents, parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends. This is truly the greatest community to teach in, and we wouldn't have this program without you. Students, can you please give your parents a round of applause? Very lucky to have supportive colleagues here in Helfrich Park, and two of the absolute best. I brag all the time, I shouldn't, but it's so easy when you have co-workers like Mr. Stracy, our orchestra director, Mr. DeKember, our choir director, who have such fine programs for students to be involved in, and they're such a joy to work with. They're here tonight helping us out. And that doesn't happen everywhere. So if we could please give those gentlemen a round of applause. And I think some of the beginners were super excited when we saw one of our elementary music teachers come in. Wow. All right. Thank you for being here tonight as well. All right, so I'm going to be blunt when I say this. This next person that I want to take a minute to thank, and really such a fine example of a great partnership and marriage. And I don't know what life at Helfrich Park's going to be like without this gentleman here and without this couple at our concerts. It has been just absolutely delightful to get to know the Sherrys. And for those of you who don't know, this is Mr. Sherry's last band concert because he is retiring at the end of the year. He deserves every single par, birdie coming his way. We are so blessed to have had him as a teacher at Helfrich Park, teacher of the year, and darn it, administrator of the century. So thank you so much, Mr. Sherry. All right, we are going to play a wonderful medley of songs from my favorite musical, The Phantom of the Opera, and I hope you enjoy. All right. Whew, that was a lot of music from one of the greatest musicals ever written. And what a great challenge for the students. Thank you, students, for all your hard work on that. Let's give a round of applause. That is very All right, so as you can see, something's a little bit different. I've invited someone up front to join me. We don't do this very often in my 21 years of teaching. This is only the second time we've done something like this. And the last time was when I taught high school band. And we invited one of our students up front to play a featured solo with band accompaniment. So if we're doing this with a middle school band and a middle school soloist, probably a pretty big deal. And I want to keep it brief, because this gentleman, he knows how much he means to me in our program and everything that he's done, and we talked about this with the students today. But I'll just give you just a small piece of information about Samuel Drury. Sam did something that hasn't been done in our building in a long time, at least band-wise. And as a 7th grader, he qualified for the Indiana All-State Middle School Band. He was one of the top middle school musicians in the state of Indiana. So yeah, that definitely. And excellence doesn't happen by accident. It takes work, it takes effort, it takes planning, and it takes consistency. With that, this year again, he was also named as a member of the All-State Band as an 8th grader. So congratulations. Sam has very incredibly supportive parents, and he knows, and we've talked about this before. Just such a blessing to have music educators in our community. The Drurys, for those of you who don't know, Mrs. Drury is our director of choral for EBSC, and Mr. Drury teaches jazz at USI and is a prolific jazz educator and performer in our community. And Mrs. Drury also leads the Philharmonic Chorus, and so they are pillars in our community, and they have imparted a passion to this young man that I can't wait for you to hear. This is Danny Boy. not the only amazing kid we have in our 8th grade program. We have a ton, yeah. This band is filled with accomplishments, honors band, IBA, EVSC. Not only that, but kids that excel in sports, academics, cheer, dance. Like, it is just shocking to hear how busy the lives of you, parents, and these students are, and they still commit to the excellence of providing this positive for you. It just shakes me to my core. We still have kids in this generation who are still willing to live up to those expectations. Thank you, 8th grade. You have been amazing. You have been wonderful to teach. This class has received not only a distinction as beginners when they were in 6th grade, that is 7th graders last year. And again, the first in a generation at least of students to receive distinction ratings every single year of their time in our Helfrich program. They have instilled this tradition of excellence for now and for the generations ahead of them. Please give them their due. 8th grade, thank you. giving me the eyes, like, be a better bow. And I was like, okay, all right. All right, that's fast. Okay, so we're going to close out tonight's concert with something we shouldn't do, but we're going to anyways because it's awesome. We're going to combine all three bands. We're going to play something for you called Thor's Hammer. It sounds like an action film script from Marvel. I hope you enjoyed it. If you can, please show them all your appreciation. Here's Thor's Hammer.